and welcome to B-Movie Euphoria's 31 Days of Horror. I gotta catch up a little bit because I have missed a few days, so let's get right into it. Today's film is the 1973 film, The Shrieking. But it's a terrible title for this movie because there is no shrieking in it. The original title, the drive-in title, is Hex, a much better title, much more fitting title because it's about these two sisters that live alone. Their father is Native American. The mother was white, and there's something special about them because they know how to do certain things, and it comes in handy when this group, this very early biker gang, because this takes place in like the Old West, but not too old because they have motorcycles, and the gang comes into town, causes a ruckus, basically is kicked out of town. The townsfolk are after them, want to kill them, so they hide in the barn. And at first, the one sister, Rio, who's in charge, you can tell from the beginning, is like, get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you. We have a nice life on here, on our farm. We don't need ruffians screwing about. But her sister, Keish, basically convinces Rio to let them stay for a little bit, at least for the night. And that's when things get screwed up. So Gary Busey is part of the gang, and so is Keith Carradine, who's the leader, and Scott Glenn, who has very muted part in this movie, even though Scott Glenn's a great actor. So basically during the night, Keish goes outside for whatever reason, and Gary Busey gets in his mind that he's going to, make love to Keish, and that's not exactly what she wants. So, to the rest of the gang's credit, they come out and basically pull Gary off of her and say, you're fucking sleeping outside because you're a piece of shit. And they all say that. So this gang isn't a bunch of assholes like some shitty, rapey biker gang. They're basically hippies. And it's kind of funny because when they first all start getting to know each other, the sisters and the gang, Rio brings out this pipe, like this corncob pipe, and she starts smoking, and Keith Carradine's like, "Wow, that's a funny smell." And Keish brings out, the little pot of stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this stuff grows wild. It's different, but Pa says that it's special." And so they all start smoking it, and they all have like a Breakfast Club moment where they're all just like, getting stoned. And I know this is getting intense for a PG rated movie, but I get this is 70s PG rating, so there's nudity, there's sex, there's violence, and there's some straight up hexing. So Gary, um, you know, tries to make love to this woman. He gets pushed away, but Rio's not letting this go. Rio does a ritual using an owl feather, and while Gary's still like fuming outside and thinking, dirty thoughts, an owl sits right by him. He's like, "Well, how the hell are you doing?" And the owl gets at him and starts like gouging out his eyes. And he's dead. And as it goes, whenever Rio gets pissed off, like when it happens, she starts to like the leader of the gang, played by Keith Carradine, and China, who is Keith's kind of girlfriend, gets a little jealous, uh, and they tussle a little bit, Rio and China. And after that, Rio is like, oh, hell no. And she goes into the barn, grabs a toad, and puts some of China's hair into the toad's mouth, and then sews the toad's mouth shut. And then China starts having insane hallucinations where there are mice in her hair, and then she sees a snake, and she's like, oh! And there's an incredible, like, LSD trip sequence where you're seeing, like, really creepy colors and everything. The film is shot very well, I have to say that. And it's, like, shot on these planes, and it's beautiful, and everything there is just really well done, and it's extremely well acted, too. So, basically, more and more, Rio is kind of discovering that she has the ability to cause trouble, to hex people. And so she does. And she's kind of fallen for Keith Carradine for whatever reason. He's charming, he's kind of a nice guy. And he lets her drive the motorcycle for a little bit. And she's going nuts with this new power that she has. And her sister sees this, and she's kind of falling for the nerdy guy of the group who can, like, fix anything, and he helps fix the windmill and everything. And those two have, like, a nice little relationship going on. They go out and pick the dirt weed or whatever they're getting together. And so that's kind of cute. But that's what's strange about this movie. It's like, it's so upbeat and so kind of free-flowing and very weird. It's just so strange. It is a horror film because people are dying left and right and in horrible ways. Like Scott Glenn wants to get revenge for Gary Busey, so at one point he points a gun at Rio, like straight at her, and she just like looks at him like, go on, do it. He pulls the trigger, and his hand freaking blows up, and half of his face blows off too. So, okay, I'm sorry I ruined that part, but it's pretty cool. The Jalopy Boys that the townsfolk that kicked them out in the beginning come by again, and nothing really happens with that, so you don't have to worry about it. I mean, sorry, but I don't want to say any more because it's ruining, like, everything that I could say about this movie would be ruining the fun and the interesting twists and turns that it takes. Like, I had no idea where this movie was going, and sometimes it just ramps up to crazy town, and the ending is insane. I was like, wait, what? What? Why would you? I can't. Like, I still don't understand most of what happened. Like, but it's so much fun to be had, and it's available on Amazon. You can rent it, I think, under the name Hex, because that's what it's known as. Much better title than The Shrieking. I think they were just trying to sell some copies of this, because I can understand it a little bit, because it's really it's really goofy. The soundtrack is done with a kazoo. That's how goofy this fucking movie is. But it's very earthy, and it feels. There are some kind of jumps in logic where you're like, why is Rio suddenly becoming like this Carrie-esque woman scorned out of nowhere? But I don't know. It's really fun, and I 100% recommend this movie just for how nuts it is. God, it's wild. Okay, so it's Halloween. So for you guys, I'm gonna eat my last cricket, sour cream and onion. I got these a little while ago, but they last. They're crickets. And they're pretty good, actually. So this one is the last one. Oh boy, here it is. Oh, I lost his leg. But in honor of this movie, and oh, there it goes. And in honor of Halloween, let's all cheers to each other. And cheers to this great movie. Go out and find it. I totally recommend it. Thanks for watching 31 Days of Horror, movie number 1. Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Alright. See you on the next one.